Eberly. I'm founder of School of Transformation. So my journey began actually at a really young age. I had a lot of trauma as a child, and I think that informed who I am today in a really good way as I learned how to transform that emotional pain and trauma in a manner that helped me connect more to who I really am, the brilliance of all of our essence versus the programming of how I was raised and the challenges that happened to me as a child. You see, when I was about 3 years old, I started seeing energy in the middle of the night. I'd wake up with nightmares from the trauma of my childhood, and I didn't have comfort from my parents. They weren't there for me, and I opened my eyes and I saw everything move in particles of energy, and this light entered the room, and I'd ask it to move over here and come over here and comfort me, and it responded to the essence of my intention and commands. And then as I grew older, when I was about 10 years old, I fell and hurt myself really bad, and I looked up from the driveway where I had fallen, and there was a 10-year-old boy there, a cute boy too, and he looked at me and he said, when I feel pain, I lean into it and it dissolves and goes away. Now my 10-year-old self couldn't make that pain go away, but I started getting curious about who was that boy and why did he disappear? Was he an angel? I mean, what did it really mean? And what does it mean to lean into the pain in order to get it to transform? So as I grew older, I studied many different things. I was a teenager now, and I started even expanding my curiosity. I read spiritual books, Carlos Castaneda. I only read metaphysical, spiritual awakening books, even at that young age. And then when I turned 14, my next door neighbor, boy who I had a crush on, was on his way to ask me to go steady. Yes, back then they had ID bracelets. And he fell off his bike and had a heart attack and died. And that opened the next chapter for me. It's when I started getting even deeper into spirituality, and I started taking transcendental meditation and exploring it from that perspective, while I kept voraciously reading books. And then I got clear. I really wanted to have a positive impact on the world. I wanted to do good, and I wanted to help save people. And yet the truth is, I needed to learn how to save myself first. And at that time, I was newly married. I had a 1-year-old boy, my son Ethan, that I birthed. And I started saying, listen, I really need to focus on me. We were living in Bangladesh, and I was exploring, who am I really? And how do I figure out what's really true, and what is the path to awakening? And what is my path to discovering the reality of the world? So I started exploring this deeper when I lived in Bangladesh, and I developed women empowerment projects and women in democracy projects in Nepal and in Bangladesh. And I started feeling a new energy and a new me come in. And I wanted to explore more of meditation and spiritual awakening. And so I took a 2-week silent meditation class, a Vipassana class in Nepal, and it changed my life. I discovered how, when I felt difficult emotions, if I learned how to work the energy in a way where I surrendered through them, knowing the truth of who I really am, not believing the illusion or the Maya, everything transformed. And everything turned into particles of energy and bliss and awakening, and I could see and experience through the Maya in very tangible, real ways. Later, I explored this even deeper when I went trekking in Nepal. Went by myself, ran into a couple people that I made friends with, And there was a bigger group, and the bigger group invited us to go to this pass that's at 19, 20,000 feet. It was crazy, crazy. And they said they'd feed us and shelter us and take care of us as we crossed the pass. And so we got to the top of the pass, and it was nightfall. And they informed us that they weren't gonna give us food or shelter, and it was starting to snow. And we were at like 18,000 feet at this time. And my friends and I looked at each other, what are we gonna do? And so I decided to surrender and trust and expand into that through the Maya, basically. And it was the most brilliant, magical night of my life, one that changed me forever. And in the morning when the sun shined and we crossed the pass and we came back down, I felt renewed, I felt different, and I felt motivated to really help change the world and help people understand what I had just experienced. And that is kind of what motivated me to develop the work. I teach 5 skills, 5 spiritual laws, and 5 steps so that you can transform that emotional pain that holds you back. I was more motivated than ever to help people learn how to live from the experience I lived from last night, to see the magic in the moment, and to learn how to work through the Maya, the illusion, and discover the truth of what's really here and available for us as humans, yes, but spiritual beings working through this physical body, this portal, as you may, to awaken more wholeness within and around us and to help people. I've always been motivated to help people, and yeah, that's what moved me to join the Barbara Brennan School of Healing. It's an international hands-on healing school that also changed my life. So each step along the way, whether it was the trauma of my 3-year-old or the pain of my 10-year-old or the death of my boyfriend at 14 or whatever challenges I met, they helped lead me to where I am today. And I'm thankful for all those traumas and challenges because they help me show up in a way where hopefully I can help you. And I look forward to meeting you and learning more about your story. And I hope you enjoyed hearing about mine. Sending you love and blessings along the way.